should schools ban girls from wearing skirts? It's already happened. 0207 862 2222. Newhouse Academy in Manchester has done exactly that, following in the footsteps of some other local schools. They said they'd put the policy in place to stop girls rolling up their skirts, which is something that we've been doing since time immemorial. Fred Longworth High School said it had become a serious safeguarding issue, girls just rolling up their skirts to make them too short. Another school in the area has banned girls from wearing socks with their skirts, saying they had to instead be worn with black tights. I used to wear black tights. We weren't supposed to. We were meant to wear skin-coloured tights, which are absolutely ghastly. So I used to wear black tights when you weren't allowed to, and I looked saucy as hell, and that was my aim in doing so. So gosh, this goes on and on, doesn't it, really? Are policies like this just more policing of women's bodies, or do you really think that they will simply make girls' lives at school easier, more practical, more comfortable? What do you think? Do get in touch on this one. Let's start with you, Francine.
Well, I'm guilty of doing that. I used to always roll my skirt up.
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah.
And I know, and I was always getting in trouble for it. I used to walk into school with my skirt a certain length as soon as I got in, and I used to go into the toilets to put my makeup on.
Me too.
That's just how a lot of girls are. So I don't think we should ban it. I do think it should be optional, to be honest. And I think some girls do feel more comfortable in trousers, especially in the winter. But there is that thing of when you get to secondary school, you do want to feel a little bit feminine. If you're a girly girl like maybe us, you like to feel that bit of, femininity, and you want to wear a dress or a skirt. And I think it's a shame to say you cannot do that. And I think it's wrong in certain ways as well.
It's a bit like saying, do remake Grease and take out the pink ladies.
Exactly.
Isn't it? That whole kind of strutting into school. I used to have a scarf, a woolen scarf my mother made in red wool. And I used to twirl it like some kind of sexy kind of can-can dancer at the Moulin Rouge. I managed to make that and whenever I bump into boys, because we were next door to the boys' school, it wasn't a mixed school, they were there, but we shared the coach. The coach was the best part of the whole day by miles. Yeah. And whenever I bump into old haberdashers' boys, they would say, God, I remember you, Vanessa, those black ties, those shoes, that scarf, And I tried to sex it up as much as I possibly could. And I certainly didn't want to be safeguarded, the absolute opposite, but maybe that was terrible, and that was a long time ago, I admit. What do you think?
When I was reading through the story, not the school in question, there was another school that said that they put it out to the local community to decide this policy, which really baffled me, because I'm going to talk to the parents and the students, but no. And they deemed it a safeguarding concern that the girls were rolling up their skirts. So what message is that giving to the girls? It's saying to the girls, your bodies are the problem, your bodies need to be hidden, your bodies are too tempting for the local people. Like, what is this? You're telling me that schoolgirls' legs are now this hypersexualized thing that needs to be covered up. It just seems like the complete backward way to deal with this problem.
Or is it saying this will give girls freedom, William? They can then
freedom by shutting down
hang
toys
on the bars and in the playground. They can run very fast. They can do the splits. They can
wear trousers,
and they don't have to think about whether they can see their knickers or not.
I don't ban them from wearing skirts. They can choose. It's important to give the choice.
I have seen this policy in action, because there's a public school in Northamptonshire called Oundle, where all the girls from 14 plus wear these kind of large bell-bottom, almost like clown trousers. I mean, my fashion.
Like harem pants.
Yeah, and I looked and I thought, this is completely crazy. And then you start speaking. I spoke to the girls, and you speak to the teachers, and they all love them because they feel they're the same. That it doesn't matter what shaped legs you've got, there is this uniformity, and actually there's always ways of decorating yourself, like with a scarf or with your hair or whatever.
Yeah, but fabulous. Let them wear the harem pants, but let the ones that want to wear skirts wear skirts.
I think it's fine if it's a sort of closed environment like a private school. That kind of works. The problem I would have is if you inflict this on in the state sector, and you've got two sets of kids walking down the school, one of them wearing the long trousers, then you've got the short skirts and the tartan, and I think that then it makes those girls stand out, which I think is unfortunate.
But we had a conversation before about confidence. I think everything's about confidence. If you feel more confident to go to school, secondary school, a little bit of makeup, a skirt, and that makes you feel more confident to get on with your work and to be around people, then so be it.
I
What
just spent the
harm are you
whole time in the
doing?
lab having Miss Gover taking my nail varnish off with acetone.
I used to wear my mum's foundation.
For God's sake, we used to have a teacher called Miss Sargentson. She's probably been dead for about 50 years. She used to measure our heels with a yardstick.
Oh, my
Remember a
God.
yardstick? You were allowed 2¼ inches, for God's sake. I mean, the uniformity of a uniform, I found absolutely unbearable, and I still do.
They'd measure our
The uniform at the school I went to, we wore...
Are we talking about Eton?
We wore a morning coat. We wore a waistcoat. We had a stiff collar, a white tie folded
You wear
back.
penguin suits, don't you?
Yeah, we dressed like penguins, and we come out of the sort of school assembly in the morning, surrounded by tourists all taking pictures of us, which is very useful in order to learn taught you how to deal with paparazzi.
Yes, which you've needed to know ever since, as you were practising your autograph for future fame. Let's go to Carol, who's on the line in Brighton. How nice to hear from you, Carol. Hi.
Hello. Yes, good afternoon, Vanessa and panel. Just a little story. I went to give my age away. I went to grammar school in 1956.
Yes.
And this was my uniform, and it was cold, cold, cold. We had navy blue gym slips, awful blouse underneath, white socks, not tight. It was terribly cold in the winter, and you got into trouble if you didn't wear your hat when you went out.
Yeah.
I don't know about banning, actually. I think girls should be given the option to wear trousers, especially in winter. It was a nightmare. It really was. It was so strict.
And also, they really used to insist on outdoor break, didn't they, till the very bitter end of the coldest, most freezing moment, as you kind of sheltered in the eaves of the school. Absolutely freezing to bits. Carol, and so they imagine if you put a pair of trousers on, they'd have gone mad, wouldn't they?
Well, wouldn't it? Yes, even if my hair came a few inches down and wasn't tied back, I got into trouble.
Also true.
So
Yeah.
strict.
Yeah.
Oh, Vanessa, may I just say, apart from you looking lovely, you've got such an empathetic manner.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I really appreciate that.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
not kind. It's true.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, and I will treasure that very charming compliment. Thank you very much indeed, Carol. That's very nice of you. I mean, the kind of it's interesting, isn't it, that uniform continues to be controversial after all these
and that
years.
girls are still rolling their skirts like we did.
Yes,
Like, I think it's just going to continue forever.
But I think it's nice to have the option, because when my daughter was in primary, she could wear trousers, and in the winter, like you said, when they shoved them out in the playground when it's so cold, it's lovely that they can wear trousers. I used to hide myself. I used to try and get myself locked into the cloakroom so I wouldn't have to go outside. I hated the cold. I still do.
But we used to have boat. I mean, you're the ultimate uniform wearer at Eton, obviously. What was the summer outfit? The same?
Same.
Oh God! And what was that like, though?
It was hot.
It was just
Imagine now,
but,
the summers we have now.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, it goes back a few centuries. I mean, I'm a believer in uniform because I think it's hard enough teaching people without. You sort of don't want your kids to stick out.
Yeah,
You're trying to teach a mass of kids who all feel sort of equal. And people are quite good enough, quite capable of being irritating without showing that irritation by showing off by messing around with the clothes. So
Was there any way of kind of customising your Etonian uniform?
if you got into a thing called pop, which was this sort of elite self-selecting society for the kind of older boys, you could wear a very fancy, colourful waistcoat of any colour.
Yes.
It is important, uniform, because in America they don't have uniform. They can wear anything to high school.
socks.
I would find that
You can wear
very
socks.
stressful.
I'm looking at your socks. Yes.
Peacocks.
Oh wow!
And
Say it
your
with
point
the
is?
I don't know. I think
someone
someone just gave them. I think they came out of a stocking.
Beautiful,
It's not a
lovely.
statement. I just have some peacock.
Very nice.
Great. I'm really
I'm a
happy.
preening peacock. I think that's the message.
I mean, to take your kind of serious point a little bit further, is this saying that girls are kind of sexualised and need to be desexualised?
That's what you're saying, isn't it? That's
Is
what
that
you're
what we're saying?
saying to the girls. So you're saying, you don't, nobody wants to stick out. If you take a group of girls and you say, girls, skirts are banned because of this reaction, that's going to make them feel quite exposed and quite vulnerable, I imagine.
I think so. I agree with
And
that.
shutting down women's choice. Surely
you're only
mandating
during-
what women should wear
Only
is
during
one
the
of
hours
most...
of school. You know, you're not
most-
wearing uniform 24 hours a day. They're the
But you're
weekends.
right.
They're
Paul,
really-
your
He's on the
body
line in London.
is the
Paul,
problem.
what are your thoughts on this? What do you think of this? Girls being banned from wearing skirts at school. What does that make you think?
Well, I think it's ridiculous. It's got to the point, really, where woke is actually taking over our lives. I mean, the school's policy, the school's actual function is to educate girls, not to decide what to wear as long as they're decently covered and wear what they feel comfortable in so they can actually have their minds relaxed enough to take in as much education as they can. That is the main function. Where are we going with this thing? It's madness. It's got to the stage where nobody knows what to do. Nobody can say anything, do anything. Schools are there to educate the future children. Nothing more. Anything else is out of their domain. So they're really into sort of areas they shouldn't be. Also, when it comes to uniforms for children and kids, parents have a limited budget. They don't have the right to impose this sort of financial structure on parents. They are as I say out in the East End, out of order. But, to be honest, this is really, really bad. It's got to the stage where I had to call in. I thought, this is ridiculous. It really is.
I mean, unless it's actually a hell of a good idea because it's more comfortable, more practical, less exposing. Girls are rolling up their skirts, as we all admit to having done. The school wants to make sure the girls don't end up showing too much of themselves or embarrassing themselves or embarrassing other people.
No, you are right about that. As long as they feel comfortable and they're not distracting the boys that are at school. There is a level. It's worked up till now. Where are we going with this thing? It's got to the stage where there isn't basically any common sense. It's nonsensical to get involved in such a thing like this.
Yeah, they are involved. It's a school. Every school dictates the uniform. They're already involved. What people wear to the school is their domain. They are entitled to say what they wear, and they are involved. This hasn't got to the stage of lunacy. This is probably a measure to protect the girls from scrutiny and also, I suppose, to make them comfortable and make them feel less self-conscious rather than more. I don't think it doesn't feel like lunacy to me. Let's go to, I mean, it may be wrong, but I don't think it's lunacy. I think they're trying to do something that they think is probably right. Let's go to Denise in Essex. Hi, Denise, what do you think?
Good afternoon, Vanessa.
Hello, nice to hear from you.
Hello, thank you. I've had 4 children, 3 sons and 1 daughter, and I've got 11 grandchildren.
Wow, lucky you.
Yeah, one of whom the school policy is they wear skirts that are also short.
Yes, I've heard of those.
Yeah,
they're called skirts, aren't they? They call them skirts. Skirts that are also short. Yeah. And is that a good idea, do they think?
I think they're brilliant. And this particular granddaughter, she loves sports.
Yeah.
I do think, and I live in Clacton, that it's gone far too far. And some of the girls, and I'm trying not to be rude here, are very big. And it's almost embarrassing. And girls today look a lot older than what they are, I think. And I think, what about the lads who are perhaps not as grown up as they are? And the teaching staff, it's so embarrassing to see them.
So are you saying these are rather larger girls with very, very short skirts? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Just showing a bit too much thigh and buttock?
A lot too much, and I don't think it looks good, and I do think lads no longer know who they are and their own identity. And I hate to think if there's male teachers, where they put themselves when people are going up the stairs or sitting in the classrooms. So I think there should be definitely...
This is a smart move as far as you're concerned. Put them in trousers and finished. All right, Denise, thank you so much.